Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Lexa Peterson, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Tom McNulty. We warmly welcome the family of Private Robert Oscar Ronfeld, whose story will be told shortly. We also warmly welcome the members of the 2012 3 RAR task group in attendance and the delegation representing 1 recruit training unit from the Royal Australian Air Force Base, Wagga Wagga, New South Wales. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services Leagues of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Visitors who are able to do so, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed at the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and in operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Robert Oscar Ronfeld. Robert Ronfeld was born in March 1892 in Marlborough, New South Wales, to Johann Nicholas Ronfeld and Maria Louisa nee Evil. He was one of their 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls. Ronfeld initially attended Marlborough Public School before the family moved to Queensland in late 1899. He then attended Ronnfeldt State School. After leaving school, he worked on the family farm before going to live with his older brother William at Nice Downs. Both worked as well borers, and by the time the First World War began, Ronfeld had obtained his own drilling rig. Ronfeld enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 5th of September 1916, and after his initial training, was allotted to the 17th Reinforcements to the 26th Infantry Battalion. He embarked from Brisbane with other reinforcements on the 27th of October aboard the transport ship Marathon, bound for England. After disembarking at Plymouth on the 9th of January 1917, he was sent to the 7th Training Force at Rolleston. Months of training to prepare the men for war on the Western Front followed, during which Ronfeld was briefly hospitalised with mumps. He and other reinforcements for the 26th Battalion arrived in France on the 22nd of May. After another month at Etaples, Ronfeld joined the 26th Battalion on the 11th of June out of the line. The battalion spent nearly all of July conducting training exercises before moving into Belgium at the end of the month. Wet weather hampered the battalion's training somewhat during August, and at the end of the month, the men were inspected by Field Marshal Sir Douglas Haig. Ronfeld entered the front line for the first time on the 19th of September 1917, and, as a stretcher bearer, went into action the following day. Only 2 days later, the battalion was out of the line and spent the remainder of the month resting and training. He didn't have long to wait for his next action. The 26th Battalion returned to the front line to take part in the next advance to Brudenstein Ridge on the 4th of October. Ronfeld was recommended, but ultimately not awarded, the military medal for his work as a stretcher bearer during the attack. He and the battalion's other stretcher bearers braved heavy German machine gun fire to bring in the wounded comrades for the duration of the action. The battalion suffered over 250 casualties during the battle, and no doubt Ronfeld and his fellow stretcher bearers saved lives. The battalion was sent to France in December, and on the 12th of January 1918, Ronfeld was evacuated to hospital suffering bronchitis. He recovered quickly and rejoined his unit. In late February, Ronfeld travelled to England on leave. He returned in mid-March, just in time for his battalion, like so many others, to take part in defensive operations to stem the German offensive that began at month's end. After the German offensive was halted, the battalion remained on the Somme and took part in several peaceful penetration operations. The first was on the 10th of June, and another, on the 17th of July, took place at Monument Wood, near Villers-Bretonneux. On the 8th of August, the 26th Battalion led the 7th Brigade attack on German positions near Villers-Bretonneux. The battalion went into reserve soon after, but on the 29th of August, the men went into action as they advanced to the Somme Canal. The battalion's advance began in the early hours and initially progressed well, before coming under heavy German machine gun fire. The swampy ground made conditions difficult for the stretcher bearers. They also had to carry their wounded charges over 5 miles to the rear to reach the nearest casualty collection station. The 26th Battalion came under fire from Australian 4.5-inch howitzers when shells began falling short and causing casualties. The operation cost the 26th Battalion 53 casualties, including 27 dead. Among the dead was Ronfeld, possibly killed by friendly fire. He was 26 years old. His body was not recovered, so today Ronfeld is commemorated on the Villers-Bretonneux Memorial among over 10,000 Australians killed in France who have no known grave. His photograph is displayed today besides the pool of reflection. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Robert Oscar Ronfeld, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.